Welcome to the Viewing Center's Game of Thrones podcast. It was a very fun and very exciting episode of Game of Thrones. We have a lot of things to talk about. I'm joined by Precious once again. Precious, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. I mean, it was a very long night in Winterfell. Lots of battles. In fact, it was so long and so dark that I could barely see my screens while watching it.
It took everybody by surprise.
Yeah, I don't know whether they were trying to cut the budget for lighting. The screen was so bad, and because I was watching it in the office, and I had to put my eyes close to my laptop to even see, and I was screaming. I was trying to scream internally. Everything was going on, and I kind of screamed out loud once, and I almost lost my job.
There was actually a rumor that the HBO lighting crew they lost their light fittings, and they spent the whole episode looking for it. I don't know how true it is, but according to Trevor, that's what he said.
It's just banter. It's just jokes. Everybody just yeah. So let's get into the episode then. What are your reaction as a whole to everything that
oh my god. Watching it, I think I was screaming like a mad person while watching it, because it's like oh my god, like the whole hype of episode 3, season 8, episode 3, it was more than what it. Oh my god, I don't know where do you start explaining from where they kept on giving us hope about like something is going to happen, to happen. We should be hopeful, and then the next thing they took the hope away, and then they gave us back. They took it back. The episode was breathtaking. It was perfection, and they did it in a way that we couldn't have seen that coming.
Yeah, I share your point of view, because as I said earlier, I was in the midst of trying to do my actual job and trying to watch Game of Thrones. So I split my screen into half, and I was like, okay, I will type for a second, then go back to my screen and see what's happening. And I will try not to scream, and the time I finally a scream came out from my mouth, I was like, all stunned at me and said, "Oh, behave yourself." So okay, that was for the episode. That was for the episode. We'll try and get into everything, because a lot of things happened throughout the episode. So as much as possible to get into every major talking point. What's the reaction? Let's start with Arya Stark. Now, what was your reaction?
Oh my God!
I think she was the most unlikely person that we thought could have killed the Night King. Obviously, we are expecting Jon to have this big battle with the Night King with his sword and eventually finish off the.
Yes, I was expecting Jon to he slay the dragon and go ahead to kill the Night King, or someone. I was just expecting something major from either Jon or Daeny.
Yeah.
And when it was finally Arya Stark, I'm like, where did she come from? We totally forgot about Arya probably being the one to kill the Night. It wasn't even part of the plan. Our imagination. We just added that the big guns, either Daeny or Jon, will be the one.
Jon, yes. Especially Jon.
Because the last episode I asked you that knife Arya was making.
Yes.
Or did I?
Yes, you talked about it. Yes.
If it was meant for the Night King, it was like a fleeting thought, but not something I felt they would actually see through. It was very nice seeing wow.
But unfortunately for Arya, it wasn't actually even the night. It wasn't her. I don't think it was her weapon that she made that killed the Night King. It was the one Bran gave to her, I guess. Are they the same thing?
Yeah.
I think they are.
No, the one Bran took her that someone else, they tried to use that knife to kill Bran.
Yeah. Yes, that was the one. Yes.
So that was the same knife she used in killing
the Night King.
Yeah. The whole episode, it was it's something they've been building for a while, because you can imagine that trick, moving the knife from a blocked hand to a free hand, was something I had done before.
Yeah, my mouth was wide open when it happened, because I didn't even expect that. I found it weird that I feel the Night King has how do they call this? Your group of friends now. He has a very bad backup squad, the Night King, in my opinion, because he had like 3 or 4 people that were like watching him as he was about to kill Bran, and none of his backup squad is gangsters. None of them could like see Arya coming from behind. I mean, what's their use if they are deciding? What's their use if they cannot see Arya?
That was the most interesting part. If you look closely, before Arya appeared, the second in command for the Night King, he could sense that someone was around there. But she was so fast. When it was like a whoosh kind of sound, like someone is there, but you definitely didn't see this person coming.
Yeah.
So I think he turned his head slightly, but nobody was prepared for it. I don't even think the Night King himself, who was able to finally turn enough to get her, was prepared that she would have another trick coming.
Well, I was actually shocked myself. I mean, there was this talk of Arya being. There was this talk of is the prince that was promised that will kill the Night King. I think it was always said. It was always talked about right from season 1, the prince that was promised. So Arya obviously is not a prince, she's like a princess, or she's like a lady or whatever. So is Arya Stark really the prince that was actually promised?
Prophecy passed down can be interpreted in different ways.
Yeah. So she's most likely the prince that was promised after all.
Technically, she's like, I know she's definitely not the prince, but she's not a prince, she's a princess, maybe. I asked Starks. I would definitely, if I had the choice, I'll pick as the prince, the princess, the god, the goddess, anything possible. But I think maybe they got their prophecy a bit confused.
Yeah. And another thing I saw online, or while reading online, there was this talk of maybe the way Arya Stark really got to the Night King was she's like how do I put it now? She's like the girl with no name, and she can change her face and all those things, the god of many faces, or maybe she used one of the faces of the White Walkers or something to get close to the Night King, to be able to at least get close to him to kill him. That was like just a theory, because people were like, where did she come out from? Did she come out from a tree, or how did she do that special jump that got her so close to killing the Night King?
I think it was more of being the ability to conceal herself. Did you notice when there was this episode, I think episode one, when she sneaked up on Jon at that same place, and Jon was like, where did you come from?
Where did you come from? Yes.
I think they built us up for this particular moment.
Yeah.
Because Arya has that special gift of being invisible in a way. You get.
Yeah.
You can sneak up on people without them even knowing.
Well, you are definitely right about that. I'm talking from somebody who is always wrong. I think last week I was here predicting that the Night King will not die in this episode. I was so sure that Game of Thrones won't kill the Night King in episode 3, because it was so obvious. I was like, maybe in episode 4, when we are not really expecting Night King to die, and I was totally wrong on that. So I won't argue on this. Are you disappointed that major characters didn't die? At least we were expecting. I mean, last week we said we were expecting maybe Bran would die, Grey Worm would die, Jaime Lannister would die. Are you disappointed that we didn't lose any major character? I mean, we lost Ed.
I'm really disappointed we didn't. I can't, don't get me wrong, I like Sam. It's nice, it's noble and all that. Yeah. But why is Sam not dead? Just a thought. Yeah.
I mean, how did anyone in that front line? We had Jaime Lannister in the front line, we had Brian in the front line, we had Grey Worm in the front line, and none of them died. It was only Ser Jorah died. Okay, Ser Jorah is just the only exception. But how because we saw it during the scenes, because they showed in various scenes where we saw Jaime and Brian and Grey Worm in the front line. They were fighting these guys, and 3 of them somehow escaped death. I mean, I find it outrageous.
It's just too lucky for my liking. Yeah. They're all too lucky. Yeah. Oh God, we sound so negative.
Because someone did ask me a question. It was like, if Jorah Martin, now the guy who wrote the books, if he was one to write this episode, because the books is not yet complete. The had grown the books now at the moment. So, and his person was like, if Jorah Mormont was the one to write, if he had written this episode, more major characters would have died. That the writers of Game of Thrones made it a bit safe by not killing the major characters in this episode, at least one or two of them, because we're expecting, last week now, we're expecting this emotional roller coaster. Okay, we're going to lose some of our favorite guys and it will be sad. But even you said it yourself that there should be a sacrifice, you want to see some people die, and we ended up not even losing any major characters. So I found it a bit disappointing, but I'm still happy that they are around, but I just found it, we should have lost at least one or two more key people.
The only thing consoling me is that they still have time to die. You get, like, there's still another part. Oh God, that sounded very, very terrible.
Yeah, Cersei will have a lot of people to kill.
Exactly. I felt they didn't too much out of us. They just needed to blow our minds by the fact, and if they take too much out of us, probably we won't concentrate on the whole strategy and how they were able to win war. Yeah. If you notice, there was not really much to talk about apart from the fact that Arya was the one who really killed the Night King, and then they were giving us glimpses or clips of everybody. Yeah. But nothing really enticing enough to keep our mind at a particular point in time to get stuck until that Arya scene happened. Yeah. I think no one was expecting. That's why it blew everybody's mind away.
So let's recap some of the characters that we saw die, because they're also dear to our hearts, although they are not major characters. We heard Lyanna Mormont. Oh God, I predicted. At the beginning of the season, I predicted Lyanna Mormont to be the one sitting on the Iron Throne, and she died in episode 3. So I'm totally wrong here again. I don't just know what's happening with all my predictions. We have this Beric Dondarrion died, Theon Greyjoy, Jorah Mormont, Missandei, and one of the dragons, and Rhaegar. So let's break down some of the deaths. Let's start with Lyanna Mormont's death. How did she go? Did she go in the best way possible?
She went, like, she had the best death, if that's possible in this scene. She had the bravest of deaths. Like, they made her into more of, like, should I say a
Goliath killer?
Because it was like Tiny David killing Goliath, and she knew she was going to go down, but at least she went down in a honorable way. Yeah.
It was. I feel it was a good one for her. It was nice to say, okay, this fearless little girl who always, she's not fearful of any of these lords. If you're a knight, she doesn't care if you are the king of this, or if she talks to you the way you deserve to be talked, and it was just fitting that she goes down killing one of the biggest people on the screen. And let's talk about Theon Greyjoy. We said, because I obviously said last week that I was going to be the first person to die, which was wrong, and he was one of the last people to die, but he died a very nice, like, for me, horrible. He finally he fulfilled his redemption arc, being a good guy, going to a bad guy, then trying to correct his mistakes. How did you feel about Theon Greyjoy as a whole and his character?
I don't know. I felt him running down to that death was kind of silly to me, because he obviously know he wasn't going to kill Night King, or he knew he had to run. Well, it's brave, but it was like I would have preferred him going down fighting instead of running like how most people die, just to run to the opponents with not even being prepared. Well, we actually predicted that him fighting he would probably run away. So based on our predictions, we're happy.
I feel he did the best. And I think he wanted to execute the same thing Arya Stark did, but he didn't have the right mindset in doing it. He ran to him. The guy, the Night King, obviously grabbed him, and he tried to still stab him, but the Night King was way smarter than him in that sense. So I feel he did his possible best, and he defended Bran. So I didn't even expect him to defend Bran up to the way he did, and he did it to the best of his abilities, I feel. What was the point of Melisandre? What was the point of her just killing herself? Is it that she has finally fulfilled the prophecy, or fulfilled her use for the god of fire now?
I think she had finally fulfilled her use. Yeah. There was really nothing more worth living for
her.
I think Mel had...
But she has 3 episodes left, so can't she just... Can't you stick around? She was second like MVP in that in episode 3, like coming with some hope, giving the Dothraki fire and light, doing all her spells to help with the fire and everything. I feel she had a very good episode. So I was not bummed out that she just gave up and just killed herself.
But even with bringing out, I think her scenes were the most annoying because her scenes had to do with the hopes they kept on giving us that it was going to be fine.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't fine until Arya stepped in. Yeah. At first, when she leaked the Dothraki's weapons, I was like, oh my God, I was screaming, like, oh God, yes, take that, Night King. And then the next thing they just, oh God, no. I think we'll wait and talk about that scene. That scene is...
it was just sad to see. I go same thing with Beric. I mean, I think Melisandre now, she knew the end that was Arya that was going to kill the Night King at the end. She had seen the future, because I think the first thing she said when she entered Winterfell, when they opened the door for her, she was like, she told what is his name now, that he shouldn't worry about executing her, that she's going to die before the end is over. So I think she already knew what was going to happen.
Yes, and she had long outlived her purpose. If you notice, she's a very old woman.
Yes, so when she removes her bracelet of Jon Snow, for Jon Snow now, I'm of the opinion that Jon Snow was useless in this episode. I don't know what you think, because he didn't do anything to me. He was basically just running around. He went, climbed the dragon, came down, running around. He didn't do anything to me. I don't know what you feel about Jon Snow.
He was looking so stupid in this scene. I think HBO just kept him and Daeny because they were just pretty faces. Because they had no purpose, no planning. They couldn't stick to. I told you that news was going to destabilize Daeny. Can you see them? They had no connection, no communication, no way of their planning. They ruined their planning. Wait, were they expecting that the Night King is going to come? Someone who goes with snow and ice is going to come and everywhere is going to be clear. How on earth were they expecting the environment to be clear and all nice for them to see? They should have predicted our obstacles like the ones they had.
Yeah.
Daeny, immediately she saw the Dothraki extinguish, she reacted. I told you last episode that Daeny needed someone to help her think, mostly when she faced problems, because she has issues with making decisions. The both of them, they were so disappointing. Oh God.
Another very useless person in this episode was Bran. I mean, he just did it. I don't think he had up to 5 lines this episode, and he just did this. Okay, when the war was starting, he said, let me go now. He said he has to go somewhere now. The next thing he walks into the Ravens, and that was all. We didn't want to say, like, maybe I was thinking like the Ravens will come into action. Maybe the Ravens will help fight the Ninth King, or so maybe when the Ninth King is approaching him, the Ravens can help us barricade or something. Well, basically all he did was just walk into the Ravens and go to sleep throughout the episode.
At this point, I'm close to tears right now. Bran is one of the most, oh God. He's disappointing, he's useless. How can you have such power of knowledge and you don't know how to use knowledge in a way that helps you? He gave them no advantage apart from the fact that the Night King is going to come for him. That was just all he gave them. He could have done more. You're telling me he could not have tapped into more knowledge of something that could have been useful, that could have given them more advantage.
Well, it's just crazy. But I feel people said he doesn't want to spoil the episode by revealing too much. What did you think about Jorah saving Daenerys? Like, he just appeared from nowhere. I thought he was inside the walls throughout the fight, and all of a sudden we saw him just vanish from thing and come to Daenerys' rescue. I mean, it was a nice scene, and it was obviously the best scene for Jorah Mormont to die beside the person he has been defending right from season 1. So how did you feel about everything that happened with him and his final?
I was expecting them to be like a rap record beside him fighting with Daeny. Things I do for love, things I do. Because Daeny was such a, I don't think I'll ever get tired of seeing Daeny being a disappointment. So, Queen of Dragons, Mother of Dragons, Ruler of Slaves and the Unsullied, and Freya of Breaker of Chains, and all those long titles.
So many titles.
And you're not putting hand-to-hand combats. How did you get?
I mean, she not.
Did you see how terrible she was?
Not everybody.
Without your dragons,
but not everybody can be Arya Stark, so you don't blame her for not being able to use the sword, I guess. But she did have. She got it finally.
When she had moral support from someone else.
That's the point of Jorah all his life, to be like the one that could never be loved back and to be a moral support. And I think he also said it herself. She needs someone to advise her and everything and give her strength. And I think he's one of the best people. So I feel that was why she was able to be that strong. So I'm here defending Daeny and you're against Daeny.
I'm just happy Jon will probably stop being in love with her, because it seems everybody who comes close to Daeny or loves her ends up dying. And I really don't want Jon to die. So I'll just say, okay, maybe. But no, I felt Jorah shouldn't have died that way. He deserved more than dying by a queen who couldn't defend herself or defend him. It's definitely, you're supposed to show loyalty to your leader, but at least that leader should be in a position where she doesn't always need to be saved. Well, there's going to come a time with Cersei. If you know Cersei is going to create an opportunity to make her disadvantage or remove her from those dragons. Cersei will never let you fly those dragons, knowing fully where you born her life. She will have a plan. So what would Daeny's plan be if she can't have dragons? She needs to think more. I expected more from her. She needs to be smart.
I feel Cersei. I mean, if Cersei and Daenerys now are on a one-on-one combat with the sword, I mean, Daenerys will definitely win, because now she has the experience of a real war. What Cersei does is just sit back and cross her legs, sip swine and talk trash.
Oh, you'll be surprised. Do you know, one thing I learned from Arya Stark, it's not just the movement or the fluidity, it's the ability to be cunning. And take it or leave it, Cersei has a lot of mysterious things up her sleeves. She has moves you don't even expect, you don't even see coming. And then Cersei has a protector, if you can think about it. So Cersei is pretty much tight to reach. I think it has to be someone close enough to get to her, to kill her. That's why we're coming back to Tyrion or Jaime probably doing the killing.
Speaking of someone who wants anybody gets to die, we saw Sam in this episode. Ed tried to save him. Ed died. Dondarrion tried to save him. Dondarrion ended up dying in this episode. Then Jon Snow almost went to save Sam and he couldn't save him. I think that's why we still saw see how Jon Snow alive. Assuming Jon Snow went to save him, I think Jon Snow would have been dead in this episode.
Sam that's why I wanted him to be dead, because he ended up killing people I liked. Like, why on earth didn't he stay inside the crypt with other disabled people from fighting?
I mean,
who couldn't fight with the women and the children.
No. Okay. Let me answer your question. If you're married then to a guy and armed robbers or somebody or a threat comes into the house and your husband is quivering in a corner with you and the kids, won't you be ashamed of the man that he won't defend his own family? So I feel Sam was like, okay.
Should I explain that thing you just told me now?
Yeah.
The truth is that I'm married to someone. There's a likely possibility you know what this person is capable of doing. And if I know if he goes out there, he's just going to die, please stay there and hide along with the children, because you don't want him to die.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Which I mean, for me, I feel Sam is not a coward, and I feel he did his best to his abilities. I'm just here defending people you're against throughout this podcast. I don't understand anybody against you don't like. I'm the one taking person's back.
Seriously, I don't know why you're supporting Sam, because it would have been more use to people than outside. I feel people cared about him too much, and he ended up distracting them enough to get killed. That was my point of not liking Sam. I really didn't enjoy the fact he came out. That was a really, really silly move. He was trying to do something that ended up killing. You see, Sansa said something that the best thing they could do was look the truth in the eyes, that they were useless at that moment. They couldn't do anything, which I felt Sam should have been wise enough for all the book he reads to understand that he couldn't do anything. And if you notice, how many white workers did he kill?
He killed a decent amount, not so plenty, but not at least it wasn't useless. He killed a few people, and those people he killed, at least, did not kill some others. So I feel he did his best.
Wow. Why you said if you feel he did his best?
He did his best in the battlefield. I mean, he's the first person to kill a White Walker, so he had to be there for moral support, I guess.
Accidentally the first person to kill a White Walker.
It's an achievement. Whether you put accidental or not, it doesn't.
I thought he did well enough, or he killed enough White Walkers to get enough of his people killed also. That's terrible.
Which out of the characters we lost? We lost Ed, Lyanna Mormont, Beric, Theon Greyjoy, Jorah Mormont, Melisandre, and we lost a dragon, Rhaegar. Among these characters, which of them were you the saddest about to lose out of these 7 or 8 characters we lost?
Oh, Lady Mormont, little lady. Oh, like it was. Her death was the saddest of them all.
Yeah. Let's talk about this crypt scene now. This is the perfect time to talk about the crypt scene. I mean, last week I made a correct prediction finally, which I can boast up. I said people hiding the crypt was a foolish idea in my opinion, because obviously the Night King can raise people from the dead, so people are going to definitely rise up from the dead in that crypt, and it happened. It happened. So I think I can like heal myself or something.
Yeah, finally you got
So in the crypt scene now we saw Sansa and Tyrion. I think they were kind of flirting and saying Sansa was like the best of all the men she has like been with, all the people that she has, all the people she has married or she has been engaged with, is like the best of them. And they were like flirting and doing this hand holding thing and everything. How do you feel about that? And do you think they might get married at the end of the season? Because that's the relationship people are shipping at the moment.
Like seriously, I really love Sansa and Tyrion to get together. They're like 2 wise people, so it would be really nice for them to get together. Then Sansa saying Daeny was the one in between them getting back together.
Yeah,
was like an affirmation that she actually would definitely be into the idea of getting back together if Daeny was out of the picture.
Yeah,
which there may be still room for that, because we don't really know what's going to happen to Daeny in the nearest future. So I think we'll just keep our fingers crossed for Tyrion and Sansa.
I feel this was the episode that I think I started seeing that okay, there's a future between both of them in terms of at the end of the season, maybe at the end of episode 6, and things are a bit smooth and two of them are hopefully two of them are still alive at the end of the season. You might see like a grand wedding, because Game of Thrones like this kind of wedding, ending the season on a happy note. It's like a big wedding between Sansa and Tyrion. I feel it would be nice for both of them, because I think they've gone through a lot, and I think that if they eventually get married and they have kids, I think kids should be getting like first position in school or something.
So hopefully no Lannister dies this time. Remember the last Lannister wedding where Joffrey died.
Yeah, well, Sansa now. Okay, since but Sansa obviously has Winterfell now. She finally has the North. The North is hers now. They are done with the Night King, and they are done with the Night King and all his gangsters of dead people. So, and she's always wanted the North. I mean, in the episode, she asked Daenerys that what about the North, that they will never knew to anybody again. Now she has the North. You see her now staying in the North and ruling over it, or pulling Jon and Daenerys. So
I don't think Daeny has agreed. I don't think Daeny has agreed to her keeping the North or taking full. I think if the North can bring a claim like I want my kingdom, was to stop the other 6 kingdoms from asking for their own role.
But I don't feel she has a choice, because number one now Jon is like the rightful heir, and number 2 Arya Stark killed this Night King. So I think they have leverage in which they can say, okay, we've fought this war. Give us the North, leave Winter for.
On the side, she has lost a lot of people.
Yeah,
she has lost lots of her soldiers and her followers, because it will be really difficult for her to even go to war without the North. So I think she may be backed into a corner of agreeing to it.
So you feel Sansa rather will just stick in the North and not. I mean, because one feeling that she might also move with Daenerys and Jon, because I mean, Cersei is her number one, is an enemy that she hates with her mind, her soul, her body, and everything. So I think she would like to take run through seats in if there's into like VVIP section in seeing the demise of Cersei Lannister.
And I think they will need a brain for that demise. I don't think any other person is more capable of predicting how to get Cersei than Sansa present. Sansa thinks like her at the moment. I think she was able to get a front seat role into how Cersei's mind works. Yeah. So she has been able to adapt to it. So only she presently, I think she and Tyrion, I think they will make a good planning team on how to get Cersei.
that would be a planning committee I would like to sit on just to see how they think. The Dothraki, now let's go back to the first scene. We saw Melisandre give the Dothraki hope by giving them fire, and when they charged into, we saw the way they charged into fighting the Night King's gang of dead people, and they just got extinguished. I mean, it's just sad seeing the whole Dothraki clan, everybody just dead in the blink of an eye. What do you think about that?
Oh, that scene was both funny, painful, and I think after that scene, you could literally feel the fear
exactly
on their faces. Did you see the Hound?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he even lost focus. I think he lost focus for almost half of the episode after that particular incident.
He wasn't himself anymore. Okay, the Hound wasn't himself anymore. Even after seeing that episode, that particular episode, it was, when someone comes out like, oh, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, and before the person will complete their statement, they just squash them. It was how it was like. Someone said it was like a birthday cake. The fire, the candles on the birthday cake.
Yes.
Lit, and then you blow them out. It was scary. It was scary. At that point, I think they realized what they were facing. Like, this isn't just a war. This was not just fight. This was fighting death, trying to overcome the impossible. And I think they had the right sense to know that there was no way they could ever burn down, and there was no way they could ever defeat the dead without killing the Night King. It was impossible. His army, the mass was just, it wasn't something they could take. And then how come did they not burn the bodies of their dead? I know it's during the moment, and during the war they are kind of busy.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I mean, they are fighting an endless war throughout the night. I don't think there was like time for them to like, okay, burn each body as soon as it's. I feel it's almost impossible at that time.
Why? Sorry, just to bring out something else. Why was Daenerys so surprised when the Dragonfire didn't kill the Night King? Was she expecting it to be really that easy?
Yes, exactly. That was the point I was going to bring in there, because he said last week that the Dragonfire killing the Night King was going to be lazy writing, and I think the Night King was so sure that our fire was never going to work on him. So he just stood there was like, you to bring whatever you have for me. So it was I have no idea.
Shouldn't Bran have known that if the Night King knows something, if something is in knowledge, and Bran is like a custodian of knowledge of what has happened before, what's happening now, and probably patches of the future, shouldn't he know that the Night King was quite confident that this fire wasn't going to work him? If you notice, the look, the smirk on his face was like, seriously, he really thought it was going to work. If the Night King had this knowledge, how come did Bran not have this knowledge? It comes back to the point of how useless this characters were expecting so much from where.
But a lot of people, I've seen a theory online that defending what Bran did in walking into the Ravens. There was this theory that Bran eventually knows how it's going to happen, and Bran knows knows that Arya Stark will kill the Night King, obviously, because he gave her the dagger. That dagger at the spot Arya Stark killed the Night King. So there was this theory that Bran knows how the war is going to end. So for the Night King, and the Night King also knows what Bran knows. So for the Night King not to find out this useful information, he kind of walks into the Ravens and is out of sight, out of mind. So the Night King cannot predict what's going to happen. Cannot predict that Arya is going to kill him. That was just the theory I saw, and I don't know whether it defends what Bran did throughout the episode.
But it would totally be funny because Bran came back when Theon was about to die.
Yeah.
So if you're actually hiding or trying not to hide an information, you're trying to hide an information, I think that should be the time you're leaving, not when it was actually. I felt his raving stuff should have done more, probably point them more.
Yeah.
Oh.
I also felt the same way that the Ravens would come into play in a way. When I saw the Ravens move, I felt, okay, to come into play in a way, maybe to help the fighters or to defend him or something. It ended up doing nothing. I thought maybe he would even walk into one of the dragons and help out, but he ended up doing nothing. I mean, we lost Rhaegar, one of the dragons, and we lost the Night King's dragon. So I feel we only have just one dragon left now out of three. Just one dragon is standing, is alive, which is Drogon. Let's move into, with all that said now, let's move into like predictions for the next couple of episodes. I mean, we have just 3 episodes left now. What do you think? Is another chance for you to be right and for me to be wrong, as usual?
I think next week there won't be so much dying next week. That to my own, that's what I feel. Like next week of planning about how to go about this one, then it will give Daeny and Jon a time to discuss about the whole issues they are facing and probably get their whole act together, because right now they are failing at it. Yeah,
I think they'll have time to finally resolve and maybe their issue and say, okay, maybe Jon leaves the throne, or maybe they talk about this situation that's in between them, and maybe they sort out their love life and every single thing that's going on. And I think Sansa too should be able to sort out the knot. And so I feel it will also be like a planning and anticipation for Cersei Lannister, and maybe episode 5 will be the main, another war coming up again in episode 5.
Yeah, definitely there'll be another war coming up, and I would really love to see how that war would play. And one thing,
okay, go on.
Just to bring it up, there's the theory that the Targaryens, which Daeny and Jon are part of, they usually practice incest, like they marry close their relatives.
Yeah.
So as to get a clean bloodline to control dragons.
Yeah.
Because when they mix it, I think they have issues with it. So they get a pure bloodline. That's the story going on. I don't really know how true that is. But if the writers should put that in play, there will actually be a way to salvage Daeny and Jon's relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Weird, very weird, very, very weird. But I think after Cersei and Jaime, they've shown us that they can be very weird.
There's nothing. In fact, they are the kings and queens of being weird. Game of Thrones. So anything go.
Anything definitely.
Melisandre said something about Arya Stark killing green eyes, blue eyes, and what was the third color she said now? Is it brown eyes? And I
think brown.
Yeah.
Green and blue. Blue was the last one, which was the Nine Kings' eyes.
Yeah. So, and they said the person with the green eyes now is Cersei Lannister. So, will Arya Stark complete a hat-trick of eyes and finally kill Cersei?
Oh, Arya Stark. I love Arya, but I feel the kill should go to someone else.
Like
someone who was really personally hurt by
Cersei.
Someone who has an actual beef with Cersei. Someone like Sansa, Tyrion, Jaime, who else?
I don't think Jaime wants to kill his the love of his life. Okay, except from Brienne.
I think he's the only one who could get close enough, who she would even halfly trust enough, like trust a little.
Yeah.
Because she has this ability to manipulate Jaime a lot. So I think she would feel she would want to try. She owes it to our unborn child to try and save his father's life. If it doesn't work out, definitely she already has plans set in place to kill him.
Well, it's going to be an interesting one. Let's see what episodes. There's a lot of.
Going to be
we have at least 4 to 5 hours left of Game of Thrones to watch, and so there's going to be a very interesting one. Thanks for joining me on the show today. I think we covered as much as we could on every single detail that happened throughout the Battle of Winterfell.
It was my pleasure, definitely.
Is there anything we are missing that you would like to add? Do you think there's anything we are missing?
I don't think so. I think we've covered it all, from Arya Stark's surprising kill to Daeny and Jon and Sam's disappointments, including Bran, to Theon and all the deaths that occurred, to the scene in crypt. I think we've covered it all. Okay, it's nice that our honeymoon has survived.
Yes, our love as Grey Woman, Miss Sunday. Their honeymoon is still set for Abuja, so we are waiting for for the end of the season for that to happen. If we've missed anything, listeners can reach us on View Center Pod on Twitter. And if we missed anything, we'll try to cover it in our subsequent episodes. Precious, thanks for joining me on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Take care. Bye.